Hello, in this video, I'm going to take a few minutes to walk you through a few of your citation reports. These are reports that are specific to your local SEO campaign, and I want to get you familiar with what's on the reports and how to use the reports so that you can understand them, number one. Number two, so that you can understand what to expect as you're kind of moving through your campaign. And number three, there are going to be times where there's actions that are required by you, and we want to make sure that you know when that's the case and what you should do. So without further ado, let me just jump into these two main reports that you're going to see. The first one is something known as a citation tracker report. So a citation tracker report has a lot of interesting information, and I'll start by saying it has these four tabs here: key citations, live citations, pending citations, and competitor citations. The key citations is taking a look at a handful of the most important citations you can get, and it's addressing whether or not you have a citation that's found, not found, whether it's correct, or whether there's a name, address, and phone number error. And we go a little bit further to kind of break down what type of errors there could be. As you have probably been told by a member of our team, having your name, address, and phone number correct across all citations is critically important. This is going to require from time to time some participation from you, because there are some citations that need to get phone verification, and we'll simply need to get you to weigh in on that. There are going to be times where you may need to make updates. For example, your Facebook page might not be correct or consistent with all of the other citations and directories that are out there, and you may need to make some updates there. There may be situations where some of these key citations will not allow us to create them, but you'll need to create them, and we'll call those out. They're very rare, but we'll call those out. So when you move down onto the bottom of the key citation page, what you'll see is a list of what those key citation directories are. You'll see the name of the business as it appears on those directories. And when there's something that looks to be incorrect, it's usually highlighted in red. So for example, maybe you're missing a street address or something along those lines. Maybe we find that, your phone number or zip code's not there, so that will be listed. What you'll notice here is this arrow button that you can hover over. And if you click that, the report will actually take you directly to that listing. Okay, so that's really good to know. The next thing that you'll see are something called live citations, and live citations will show you kind of your, the citations as they're being added to your campaign. Green means they're new, and blue means they existed prior to the most recent new ones being added. And so you'll just see this kind of growing over time. And then you'll see this long list that'll be here. There is this concept of something called citation authority. I want to point out what that means. What that means is that the closer the number is to 100, the greater the probability that the directory will list in a Google search result. So your website no doubt does not have a 93 out of 100 authority. Very, very few websites on the entire internet do. But what you'll notice is that, really simply, if Yelp, when you run local search results, you'll often see Yelp, for example, pop up in a search result. Okay. Again, similar thing, you're going to see this arrow here where you can click over to the citation and review it. From time to time, there's going to be, as I mentioned, issues with a citation, and we'll tend to bring those to your attention as the campaign goes on, because we'll need your assistance in getting them resolved. I want to skip over pending citations because I think that's pretty self-explanatory, but I want to move to this competitor citations. What our system will do is we will be looking at different competitors that are system identified in your market, in your geographical area, and we'll take note of the different citations they have. And as your campaign goes on, where it makes sense, we will seek to go out and create citations that match and exceed your competitors. That certainly needs to be consistent with the SEO plan that you're subscribed to. And then, as I mentioned, it's important to note whether or not they're worthy of attention. Some directories are really, really low value and they're just simply not worth pursuing. Doing so doesn't add any value to your business. And so you wouldn't want to invest energy into things that aren't useful for you. So that's what we call the citation tracker report. There's another report that I want to highlight, and it's called the it's the campaign report. Essentially, it's a citation builder, as the name says here. And what this means is we're giving you a report for some recent activity that's been happening, and we account for aggregators. If your plan includes us doing work for on aggregators, we'll go ahead and do work there. Aggregators are really useful because they disseminate your information to 100 or 200 different directories. And so it's a really useful thing to have added to your plan. We'll also indicate whether something has simply been submitted or whether it's live. And I want you to take special note of this column here called notes. And within the notes column, there's this one icon which looks like a notepad. Anytime you see that, it's really important that you hover over it and you read the note. There are often instructions where you might need to do something. For example, and they vary from directory to directory, but for example, if your site, if you're listed on, Angie's List, right? So Angie's List is a great directory, but as you can see from this note, what it says here is that in order for your listing to go live, they require that at least one of your customers leaves a review on the site. Okay, so that's something that you need to do. We can't do that for you. So we'll show you the link. We'll also give you the credentials to the account so that you have access to it. Sometimes there are situations where we're unable to update an existing listing, but it's just we're going to mark it simply as existing. When that happens, be sure to take a look at the note. What you'll find in most of those cases is that an existing account or existing profile already existed, and the directory won't allow us to create a new one, and we don't want to have two of them, obviously, for your business. But we need the login credentials that only you would have in order to be able to make updates. We won't have the credentials. There's no way for us to get the credentials because we're not the profile owner. You're the business owner. So in that particular case, what you'll need to do is you'll need to either forward us the email address and password for that account, or you'll need to work with that platform directly to secure that so that you can share it with us if you don't happen to know what it is. Okay. From time to time, you're going to see something that says pending approval. Now, pending approval could be for a handful of different reasons, but the two most common are that we have contacted the platform and the directory, and we're waiting on their approval. They have to go through some internal verification or something like that. Or perhaps there's a need for a phone verification, and there'll be instructions for completing the phone verification. Some common examples of that would be Apple Maps or Bing Places. So those are a couple examples, and they're really usually high quality platforms that need your participation, but they just simply aren't something that we can get across the finish line on our own without you weighing in. So if you decide not to hover over these icons, you can always scroll down to the bottom and you'll see kind of a directory, not a directory, but a key to the citation builder report. So that can be really helpful. If you have any questions, our support portal can be accessed via the link that's right here. And just let us know if you have any questions. Keep in mind, this is a dynamic report. So as things move from submitted to live, they will dynamically be updated on your report. It's important to note, however, that we don't have control over the speed. So we are at the mercy of the aggregator or the directory, and whatever their pace of play is really what happens. And so we'll keep this updated, but be sure to check back at your report so that you can see updates. And then as we take steps to reach out to additional directories, you'll get new reports. So the cadence for the reports will not necessarily be consistent, but when they do come, you will know exactly how to understand them and read them and understand them. Thanks so much. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to let us know.